welcome to Thehayteamtv. So, Devon's greening up. Hopefully wherever you guys are in the world, it's greening up too. We have had this week a lot of rain, and almost biblical amounts. So, for example, yesterday, driving back from a delivery of Fast Track, I'd have my windscreen wipers on full blast just to clear the water off the screen. Also, big hello to all of you on the roads that keep waving to, well, myself. I can't account for HRS, but I'm sure he'd be thankful too. But yeah, back to the rain. We have had a ton of rain, which is good. As long, dare I say it, it works out when it needs to stop. Because now we've had the water, obviously there's a fair bit of heat in the ground still. So the grass is really starting to shoot with us. Like, it's not here yet, this is grazing. So to the boot it's about the ankle. But another week and we could be looking at cutting again. I've got a dog that sort of run around like a lunatic. So it's quite important that the sun does come back out a bit, but there could be a chance it doesn't and it just keeps raining, which unfortunately that'll just be what it is. But there's a lot, not just ourselves, a lot of us that could end up getting a decent amount of second cut. Now, look, this video is more so going to be about chafer grubs. So here we have a patch. Now, for you guys that haven't seen chafer grubs or I've talked about it yet, if I take my hand here to the soil or the grass, I can literally do this. Ready? And there are these horrible little grubs called chafer grubs. And I don't know if you can see in there, there are loads of them. Now, lots of you that have been watching us have, especially down around here, have had a few problems with these chafers as well. Now, what we're learning at the moment is, one, chafers don't seem to want to stay in the same ground that they were in last year. So we're finding that the fields that were really bad last year haven't got any sign of them at all. One of the fields that, if you go to the chafer videos, I might make a playlist of them. The chafer videos from last year, there was great big sections of field that just got bulldozed by the mowers when I went in to mow them and got turfed up. Well, this year, one of those fields which was really bad, I went through in the second cut that we did the other day, and there wasn't a sign of them. So for us looking at it, it's almost like they need clean ground that they haven't been in before. Also, when I go up to show you guys the chickens in a minute, and it's not to show you the chickens, to show you what the chickens have been up to. They are on a serious amount of excavation. And it looks like they've got a taste for them. So, they haven't been eating so much feed, which is what I was, fingers crossed, going for. Sort of a bit of a happy accident, really. So, in a minute, I will pop up there after I finish doing what I'm doing down here.
Something buried deep inside us, the major and the minor, we're like piano keys. You played for me. You played for me.
I know, not ideal. There's two chickens out. They decided to have a night on town last night, so they just want to go back in their shed.
like a whirlwind, scattered us like leaves. But I'm stuck inside a feeling, a song that never leaves. We were like a symphony. You played for me. You played for me. Oh, you played for me. I swear, even in my sleep, I hear it like
Okay, the dog is work in progress. He's still learning. Howdy, mate. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell, but that's where the chickens have been, lovely and green. And that's where the chickens haven't been, still quite yellow. But the most important thing is, and I showed a clip in the sort of montage you just saw before, is they are working the ground very, very well. So they've got a taste for them, and one of their best areas that is worked is obviously chafer bugs aren't much more than 2 to 3, well, 2 inches in, to be honest. They're very close to the surface. They don't tend to overly go down unless it's really, really cold. So as it's been so warm, they've been quite close to the top, and the chickens are working them really quite well. Occasionally they get a little bit over keen and they just keep digging down. But generally they are working areas like this. I wander around, and if I come where they were a while ago, you can see it's healing back quite well as well. So there's a little spot there, but obviously the grass shoots are all starting to come through. But it's starting to heal in. Yes, I know this field's got a lot of plantain in it. Yes, at some point we've really got to do a lot of spraying. But with the price of everything at the moment, it can quite happily wait, because one, there is not a lot of stuff about, and two, it's all going at quite a price anyway. So, saving costs at the moment. Here, again, you can see they've gone quite deep. But generally they're working the ground very, very hard. And each section that they've been through, I'm going back through and going to the edges of where they've been. And yeah, they've cleared really quite well. Really quite well. There's 1 or 2 still here in this little spot that I'm looking at, but they've worked around it quite hard. Something unusual I'm finding, I don't know if you can see them. I walk through this slowly. These tiny little insects. See, here's a chafer bug spot. You see this ground this time, there's one there. But these tiny little white insects, which I've never noticed before, which as you're walking along, they're just like little clouds of them. Now, I don't know whether that's something to do with the problem. I don't think so, because they're way tinier than the bloody grub is. But the chickens seem to pick them off as well, which I was sort of getting up onto. But once the truck's sent an area that they're in, you come back the next day, and it looks like this. Absolutely ransacked. So they obviously taste, well, they're pretty good for the chicken's palate, is what I'm thinking. Now, this is just a little short and sharp vid, because I'm going to the factory for the rest of the day and smashing out more bales, because it is pretty relentless at the moment. And I will see you, well, I will see you guys in the next video with possibly a big surprise. So, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next one. You can can also find us more on Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter and Instagram. If you like any merch, that is still on eBay. Hasn't gone anywhere. But until that next time, see you in the next one. Cheers.